Coming up, 6 things that you can do as an INFP to better tackle overwhelm and stressful situations while organizing things. What's up, legend? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology, where I help geeks, gamers, and creatives to play life better. And as an INFP myself, I get questions like this all the time. How do I get better control over this strategizing commander aspect, this character, this mini personality within myself that just sucks at setting goals and making things happen and gets overwhelmed with just so many different possibilities and like not feeling like things are clear enough or clean enough that I can just decide what to do within all the options available. And if that sounds like you, stay tuned, because I'm going to give you 6 or so different things that you can do to better overcome that stress, better tackle those difficult situations and organize your life better. So first up, you need to set a goal. Next, you need to break it down into smaller pieces, and then you got to deal with the stress when it does come up. So how do you set a clear goal? Okay, there are 2 different things that I want to talk about here. The first one is, these are different mental models, different approaches to looking at them. The first one comes from video games. Well, actually, it's a tabletop RPG called ICRPG, Index Card RPG. It's kind of, rolling dice and stuff like that. It's like Dungeons and Dragons. He has a way of creating missions, okay? Creating scenarios and, the quests and things that you go on. And this is relevant to you, okay? So just keep listening. Even if you don't play games, that's fine. You'll get it. L is location. You need to figure out what life is like right now, right? You need to see the goal. What do I want things to be? And then look at that gap and see what the obstacle is. Like, what do you actually need to do to get you to the goal? What's the thing that you need to do in order to get you closer to your goal, right? It doesn't have to be much more complicated than that. And then the next one is a SMART goal. If you don't know SMART goals, it's a pretty good method. It's a pretty good system. So SMART, it needs to be specific. What specifically is it that you want to do? Clearly, like how do you know when you've achieved that goal? You need to have it clearly identified, because we can get just stuck in ideas and this feeling like it'll feel right when I get it. But that doesn't really help you too much. You need to actually have a clear visual or auditory or, just an understanding what is the actual number that I'm trying to achieve, and all this, make it really specific, okay? And then you need to measure it. How can you measure your progress toward the goal? Is it, if it's like cleaning your room or something like that, cleaning your house, you have different rooms, okay? So that's how you can measure your progress. And within each room, you can break it down into different quadrants. I'm gonna clean this area first, and this, right? Just make sure that you have a measurable way of tracking your progress and knowing if you're moving closer towards your goal. I don't suggest using time as a way of doing that. I'm going to spend an hour doing this. Yeah, it's okay. But find an objective, just a different approach usually is better. If you're writing something, if you want to write, a book, okay, measuring your time is okay, but it's better to say I want to write a page. That's going to get you more tangible, practical signs of progress. Okay. Next is A, achievable. You want to make sure that it's something that can actually be done, and don't get too hard on yourself about it, right? Don't also keep it extremely idealistic. You want to be you want it to be a lofty goal, right? But it's got to be something that you can achieve. I don't know, want to be an astronaut by tomorrow. That's probably not going to happen. Next, relevant. Make it relevant to your life and actually check to see that it's economical. When you achieve that goal, what's going to happen to your family? What's going to happen to your free time? What's going to happen to your health, your wealth, other relationships? What's going to change when you achieve that goal? It's important to really notice that stuff, because sometimes that's what actually gets in the way of you achieving your goals and actually organizing stuff, because you'd actually like deep down, you know that if you achieve this thing, well, then you're not going to have time for this other thing. And these two parts conflict. So make sure that you're aware of that and you've negotiated within yourself. And next up, T, make it time-based. Make sure that you now know when you are going to achieve the goal by. If you just say like sometime, then you're never going to get it. Sorry to say that, but that's just not how it works, because a task expands to the time allotted to it or something like that. So like if you say it's going to take me a week, it's going to take you a week. If you say I'll get it done by tomorrow afternoon at 2:00, you'll get it done by tomorrow afternoon at 2:00, right? You're going to expand the task to fit that time. We all know this as perceivers, like, okay, I got a test in 3 weeks. I'm not going to study for it. Oh, okay, the night before or a couple of days before, maybe it's now time to start studying for it, right? Then you get prepared for it. Then you get ready for it. So really make sure that it's time-based. Make sure that you know exactly when it needs to be done by, and set that time and keep yourself accountable. From there, you want to break it down into smaller chunks, smaller pieces. Chunk is a gross word. I don't like the sound of it. Chunk and nugget are two words that I just don't really feel great about, but that's what they're called. They're called chunks. So basically, like we get overwhelmed because we're looking at this whole finalized, extreme, massive goal, right? How do you slay a dragon? One attack at a time. You can't just be like, well, crap, I got to deal with this whole thing in one shot. It doesn't work like that. So break it down into smaller chunks and then ask yourself, what's the first step? What's the first thing that you can do to get momentum, to get moving towards the goal? And that is usually enough to actually make you make massive progress to it. It's just starting and just taking some actions towards it. And through doing that, you relieve your stress because you're actually making progress. You're like, wow, this actually kind of feels good. Oh, jingle, jingle. And the last one, we're going to talk about what happens when you actually get stressed out, when you're trying to organize all this stuff and it just feels like it's this ever expanding like possibilities that you just don't even know how to wield them all, because there's so many different options, so many different ways that things could be organized, and you just feel like you want to give up. The first one is we'll go like this. Don't be ashamed of taking a step out of the situation. If you do get overwhelmed with something, if you do get stressed out, and if you're working with other people, just be like, sorry, I need to take a little break. I'm just going to go walk outside for 10 minutes. I'll be right back and I'll start, I'll be feeling good and ready to do this. And you don't even really need to apologize. You can just say, this is what I'm going to do and I'll be back and I'll be feeling better. I'll be in a more resourceful state and that's fine. Let's reconvene in 10 minutes. Okay. I highly suggest going for walks, going outside, just refreshing yourself. As an INFP, you probably like going to nature and stuff like that. So being outside is a pretty good substitute for going to the forest and going to a cabin in the woods and stuff. So it's a start. Or just, take a sit and close your eyes, take some deep breaths and recenter yourself, realign yourself. Another thing you can do is to write down the pieces that need to be organized, the aspects, the components of it on like sticky notes, and put them in different categories. I do this a lot with ideas when I'm just like, how am I going to make this book, or how am I going to make this course, or whatever it is, like, and I have all these different possibilities. I just write down the components and put them in categories, put them where they need to go. And then it just has a lot more clarity to it. And with that, you feel less stress. And one more thing that you can do is to imagine yourself, seeing yourself, kind of like you were watching yourself in a TV screen or something like that, right? Like seeing yourself 15 minutes after the successful completion of the situation, the event, or whatever it is. If it's like feeling overwhelmed because you need to clean your house and you've been putting it off for 20 years, then seeing yourself after everything is just nice and clean and everything like that, and you've finally taken care of it, you've had like 15 minutes, everything's settled a little bit, and looking around, just feeling great, right? See yourself smile, see yourself sitting up nice, having better posture than I have, and just feeling good about it, and whatever it is for the task, the situation that you're going into. This is an extremely powerful exercise that I use with clients through coaching and dealing with anxiety and things like that. And another thing that you can do is you can go to infp.geekpsychology.com and buy the I Now Feel Positive Masterclass, a class for INFPs to understand their cognitive functions, or their personified cognitive functions, as I explain them: the empath, the explorer, the guardian, and the commander, and being able to gain skills and tool sets around those so that you can wake up 30 days from now, look in the mirror and say, I love myself. Give yourself a high five, and actually just feel satisfied and appreciative of who you are and what you bring to the world. Or I guess you could check out this video, and hopefully that one will help too. Keep up the lifelong questing. Good luck, have fun. Peace. Lifelong questing. Good luck, have fun. See ya. See ya. Who says see ya? Nothing. No see ya here. It's just about peace. Peace, 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 peace. How do you sit like that? I just can't sit. I can't sit like this.